The young man sat down after watching Xiaoxie for a long time, and ate steamed buns alone in the face of Xiaoye. Xiaoxie looked at it and thought, this person has such dull eyes. It's like a beast. As soon as he saw that he was only eating steamed buns, Xiaoxie immediately pushed the side dishes on him and said with a smile, "Come. There are side dishes and wine here." He also sent the wine, and he wanted to find someone to drink. The young man looked at the little evil for a long time, and his eyes were exactly the same as that of a tiger hunting for food. Xiaoxie naturally showed the smile of the person's love. The young man picked up the wine and drank it all in one gulp. When Xiaoxie saw that he was cool, he called 2 altars, 1 person and 1 altar, born opposite to each other, and drank relative to each other. Xiaoxie smiled and said, "Brother, you are not bad, drink the material of big wine. Come, I will introduce it to you, this is Xiao Ding." First, he pointed to Xiao Ding, "It's my good friend, my name is Yang Xiaoxie, Yang of Yang Lu, the little kid, the evil of the evil door, the natural Lingtai is flooded, the 7 orifices lead to the sky, Kobe is straight, the statue of the emperor in the dynasty, the statue of the overlord in the rivers and lakes, what about you?" The young man looked at Xiao Ding, who smiled and said, "Hello." The young man did not answer, nor did he turn to Xiaoxie, and soon he picked up the wine and drank a third of it in one gulp. Xiaoxie stretched out his hand to shake his wine and said, "There is a set, you drink 1/3 and I drink half." "Who?" He also drank half of it in one gulp and said, "Xiao. I don't know your name, I don't know how to call you, so I'll give you a name." He turned to Xiao Ding and said, "Xiao Ding, what day is today?" Xiao Ding said, "The 7th day of the 1st month." Xiaoxie is good at talking, this young man has an appetite for him, and he also feels that this young man seems to have no relatives, and intends to help him. Xiaoxie said, "Brother, I think today is the 7th day of the new year. How about your name is Xiaoqie?" "Xiaoqie? Yes, Xiaoqie is coming. Let's have a toast." The young man's eyes lit up, and he looked at Xiaoye and picked up the wine, and the 2 of them drank the wine again, and Xiaoye called the 4 altars again, and he was interested in drinking. Xiao Ding exclaimed, "Little evil, you can't drink like this." Xiaoxie shouted, "Xiao Ding, don't sweep up, if Xiaoqie is drinking with me today, can you drink it? He. As soon as he finished speaking, he lifted and poured his hand, and Xiao Ding couldn't dodge it, and his stomach was red and his face was dizzy. Xiao Ding shouted, I don't say so, but you can't fill me again, my head is so bad." She puffed her face. Zhu Yan was tender and dripping, weak and boneless, really like a drunken fairy, beautiful and dusty. It's a pity that Xiaoxie didn't care about the romance and only shouted in a catty, "Wow, it doesn't work, I didn't have to sing the lotus-picking rhyme twice, poor, then you go back to rest first, or it will be miserable." Xiao Ding also felt a little unbearable. She said, "Little evil, I won't get crazy about drinking, I'll go back first, and then it won't work." After saying that, she got up and said goodbye, and went back to the guest room alone. Xiaoxie sighed, "It's terrible, you have to be stronger." He turned to Xiaoqie and said, "Xiaoqie is not a woman now, let's have a good drink, come. Xiaoqi didn't speak, the two of them drank violently, and the small altar was not enough to come to the big altar. Xiaoqi saw that Xiaoqi didn't coerce Xiaoxie and thought that the dish was not good enough, so he immediately replaced it with big horns and big meat. Xiaoqi saw the scallion oil chicken, and grabbed it with both hands. Xiaoye was startled and immediately grabbed the fish. The two looked at each other, and laughed. It turned out that Xiaoxie had discovered that Xiaoqi was not a civilized person. He must have grown up in the mountains. He didn't speak much, and even his name was given to him by Xiaoxie. The little evil is wondering how he came to the city, and after thinking about it for a long time, he compared himself to himself. He grew up in the mountains and felt that it was very strange outside, so he ran out like me. These two people mixed together inexplicably, drinking inexplicably, and laughing inexplicably. Maybe Xiaoxie laughed because he thought it was funny, but what about Xiaoqi? Maybe he met a funny little evil and laughed. There were 4 more big men at the table opposite, and one of them saw Yang Xiaoxie and told the other bearded partner. The big beard immediately got up and walked towards Yang Xiaoxie, and he shouted, "Xiao Biao, are you Yang Xiaoxie?" Yang Xiao was 7 points drunk, and he said, "Who are you? I'm drinking and I don't have time to fool around with you, go away." Hanzi said, "Did you kill the Ghost Valley Demon King Child Blood Bear?" The little evil drunkenly said, "That's right, he died under my knife." The other 7 people all came over and surrounded Xiaoxie and Xiaoqi. The Hanzi said, "I advise you to go back to the Shenyu Gate with me obediently, so as not to suffer from the flesh and skin." The little evil shouted, "What gods are 5 gods and 6 gods? Don't make a lot of noise, I'll drink, roll quickly." The other 7 Hanzi roared when they saw this, and the 7 long knives had slashed towards Xiaoxie. "He!" the little evil monster shouted twice, and shot out 2 flying knives to take the man on the right, and Xiaoqi, who was sitting on the opposite side, suddenly got up and pulled out a white sharp knife-like thing and slashed at the 3 men in the back. The speed of the shot was like a meteor flashing, and the 3 men in black didn't even have a chance to dodge the screams, and they had already returned to the yin, and the remaining 3 did not dare to attack again and reflexively ran to the stairs, like a lost dog. "Stop!" the little evil shouted that had shocked the 3 men in black, and he shouted, "If you don't bring back the body of your companion, how can you explain it to your master?" The 3 men in black didn't even dare to gasp, carrying the corpses on the ground and running out. These people were carried away, and they didn't want to think that the little evil could kill the child blood bear and kill them, and they blindly wanted to take credit but ended up in the underworld. At this time, Xiaoxie saw Xiaoqi weapon, which was a 1.5 foot white knife, like ivory grinding, but it was very heavy, and its advantage was cut into gold and jade. Xiaoxie said secretly, "Maybe this is the legendary Han King iron." Han Wang iron is indestructible, its sharpness is like mud, and it is enough to practice the magic weapon that martial artists dream of, and Xiaoqi did not sharpen the whole one, only the front end of the 3-inch sharp, but this is enough. Xiaoxie knew that it was not safe here, so he said, "Xiaoqi, let's slip quickly and change places." After saying that, they dropped the money, and the 2 of them ran out of the restaurant. They visited many places, and Xiaoxie also bought a few clothes for Xiaoqi. asked Xiaoqi to wear them, and bought 11 sacks, and then rushed back to the inn. This night, Xiaoqi can sleep very comfortably. XXX. The next day, Xiao Ding woke up first, and when he saw more Xiaoqi, he didn't know what to do, and when Xiaoqi saw Xiao Ding, he immediately pretended to sleep on the side, because he didn't know how normal people got up, and he didn't know how to show Xiao Ding to be right, so he simply fell asleep and waited for Xiaoxie to get up. Soon Xiaoxie also woke up, and when he saw that Xiaoqi was still sleeping, he immediately stepped forward and shook him awake and said, "Xiaoqi, wake up, let's wash up and go out for breakfast." Xiaoqi sat on the chair and looked at Xiaoxie blankly, guessing what the word washing meant. Xiaoxie's Linglong heart immediately realized at first sight, we normal people should pay attention to cleanliness, and when we get up in the morning, we have to brush our teeth and wash our faces. Come. Little Evil teaches the same, and Xiaoqi learns the same.